Ọlọ́run ìwọ ló tó sí, ìwọ là wá gbójúlé, kò bínú. Ọba tó ní wá kò bínú láti pè wá sínú ìmọ́lẹ̀, ìwọ là wá gbójúlé, kò bínú. Ọba tó ní wá kò bínú láti pè wá sínú ìmọ́lẹ̀, ìwọ là wá gbójúlé.
Omi pa kété ọgọ́nà séjì, ọ̀nà pa kété ogómi séjì, àtomi àtọ̀nà wá gẹ́ra wọn sí mẹ́rin mẹ́rin. Adífá fún Òyígíyigì tí í ṣọ̀tanú omi, kóhun dàgbà kóhun darúgbó l'Òyígíyigì dífá sí, wọ́n lẹ́bọ ni kó ṣe. Òyígíyigì rúbọ, wọ́n ṣètùtù fún, ó wá dàgbà, ó darúgbó kò kú léwe, ijó ní ń jó, ayọ̀ ní ń yọ̀. Ó wá yin àwọn awo rẹ̀ ń yin fá. Ó ní bẹ́ẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ làwọn awo ń ṣẹnu ré kífà. Ọ̀lànà kótó lórin Ifá bá bọ́ sí i lẹ́nu ló ń ṣe. Òyígíyigì ọ̀tá omi o, Òyígíyigì ọ̀tá omi, àwádò Òyígíyigì a ò kú mọ́ o, Òyígíyigì ọ̀tá omi. A body of water gathered, splitting the road in two. The road responded, splitting the water in two. Both water and the road now split into four each. Ifa consultation was made on behalf of Òyígíyigì, the rock boulder in waters. Longevity was the objective. Sacrifices were prescribed. Òyígíyigì complied and appeasements were made on his behalf. He attained maturity and grew into old age, escaping untimely death. So he stepped into joyful dancing, praising his awo, who in turn praised Ifa. Behold the manner in which my awo offered their mouthful of gratitude. Shaping his lip in song, he came forth with an Ifa tune, singing.
Òyígíyigì ọ̀tá omi o, Òyígíyigì ọ̀tá omi. Òyígíyigì ọ̀tá omi o, Òyígíyigì ọ̀tá omi. Àdó Òyígíyigì a ò kú mọ́, Òyígíyigì ọ̀tá omi. Omi wọ̀nyàn rìn kẹ́rẹ́rẹ́ o, omi wọ̀nyàn rìn kẹ́rẹ́rẹ́, omi wọ̀nyàn rìn kẹ́rẹ́rẹ́ o.
Òyígíyigì, the rock boulder in waters. Òyígíyigì, the rock boulder in waters. We have become Òyígíyigì and attained immortality. Òyígíyigì, the rock boulder in waters. Òyígíyigì, àpáta sáú, egbodò èlùbọ́ kan, agbéjigbéjì gbáàrá gbékúmì bí ọwẹ́, àárá gbabú, gbẹ̀mẹ̀ǹdì kan bí oṣéerin, àìlèkù fìrì bẹ̀rẹ̀ gbé bí ìtì àgàn ó, àtàǹbàlà, àgbéfìdíjálẹ̀ bí ìtì ọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀, òkè ìgbàanì, kò ṣeé gbé, àgbà òkè, Òyígíyigì. It bears repetition, but to know something, to have a deep knowledge of a phenomenon in Yoruba is to know its oriki. The oriki in this context, I say again, is a collection of extended descriptions of and ascriptions to a phenomenon in poetic oral texts. With Òyígíyigì, the most common accompanying statement that describes the phenomenon in question, that is, its oriki, is Ọ̀tá-omi, a key statement in the above Ifa song. In this short verse, Ọ̀tá-omi tells us that Òyígíyigì is the name given to the rock boulder found in waters, as Ọ̀tá-omi is actually a shortened poetic rendition of the phrase Òkúta inú omi. Whilst the first two lines of this song call attention to the phenomenon Òyígíyigì, indicating a need for reflection on the rock boulder in waters, the third line, Àwádò Òyígíyigì a ò lè kú mọ́, goes further to explain the need for the call for attention, pointing to the agelessness of Òyígíyigì, the rock boulder, which though is awash and is constantly washed by the flowing of water on and around it, remains static, immovable, and undiminished. Òyígíyigì thus provides inspiration for fortification to mere mortals aspiring towards exhibiting the properties of faithfulness, constancy, and dependability as epitomized by the immovability and reliability of Òyígíyigì, the rock boulder in waters. Carbon dioxide sometimes dissolves in water, forming a weak acid and thereby creating an acid river. Such acid may gently dissolve carbonate rocks like limestone and chalk, and over long periods of time, the weathering may become noticeable. However, Òyígíyigì stands immovable, constant, and undiminished. While other ephemeral elements are washed off and on by the flow of waters, Òyígíyigì remains. The constancy, resistance, and integrity of Òyígíyigì in the face of such weathering is expressed rhetorically in yet another verse. Èjì pọ̀tà bí ikó yege, òjò pòkè bí ikọ́ yẹ̀gẹ̀rẹ̀. Torrents pummel the rocks as though to dissolve them. The rains pound the hills as though to induce a landslide. Yet, Òyígíyigì remains immovable, constant, and undiminished. With this character of reliability and faithfulness, Òyígíyigì offers an ideal for integrity in Yoruba thought. For this reason, there are numerous references to the constancy of Òyígíyigì in the forms of rocks, crags, and hills in the Ifa corpus, particularly Odu Oyeku Meji, as basis for expressing immortality. Oyeku, corpus addressed at the necessary postponement of untimely death. For example, òkúta làpá máṣẹ̀jẹ̀, adífá fọwọ́, ọmọ abárùn jàrún, wọ́n ní ó rúbọ fún àwọn ọmọ rẹ̀ nítorí ikú, ọmọ márààrún tọ́wọ́ bí ńlọ́wọ́ rúbọ fún, gbogbo wọn náà sì yè, ó wá ní ọmọ ọwọ́ ìtójú ọwọ́ kú, ọmọ ẹsẹ̀ kì í tójú ẹsẹ̀ ṣàrùn, kèèpẹ́ o kèèjìnà, ẹ tètè wá bá mi láìkú kan gẹrẹ. The rock splits but bleeds not. If a consultation was made on behalf of Hen, offspring of them that revel in fives, advised to make sacrifices to save his children from death, Han complied and sacrificed for all 5 of them. They all survived. Thus Hen sang, rejoicing proclaimed, the offspring of Hen will not die with Hen merely looking on. The offspring of foot will not be afflicted with foot giving no attention. Soon, oh very soon, will all meet at the survivor arena. Yet another verse in Oyeku Meji and Odu Ifa that deals extensively with life and death. Àtẹ́lẹsẹ̀ abára pẹlẹbẹ, adífáfẹ́ ni apá ọ̀ka orúkọ tá a pòkè. Ogún ọdún òní o, òkè ń bẹ láìkú gbọ̀ngbọ̀n, gbọ̀ngbọ̀n ní tòkè, òkè, òkè gbọ̀ngbọ̀n. Ìgbà ọdún òní o, òkè ń bẹ láìkú gbọ̀ngbọ̀n, gbọ̀ngbọ̀n ní tòkè, òkè, òkè gbọ̀ngbọ̀n. Ìgbà gbogbo lòkè ń bẹ láìkú gbọ̀ngbọ̀n, gbọ̀ngbọ̀n ní tòkè, òkè, òkè gbọ̀ngbọ̀n. Flat comes the sole of the feet. If a consultation was made for the unassailable, a fitting ascription of the craggy hills. 20 years and still counting, the craggy hill stands immovable. Fixity is character of the craggy hill. Yes, the craggy hill remains fixed. 200 years and thereafter, the craggy hill stands immovable. Fixity is character of the craggy hill. Yes, the craggy hill remains fixed. Forever, the craggy hill stands immovable. Fixity is character of the craggy hill. Indeed, the craggy hill remains fixed. It is not uncommon in Yoruba, and indeed many other languages, to use reduplication to express notions such as intensity, increase, and profusion. The word Òyígíyigì in form is typical of Yoruba words formed through a process of reduplication. In this vein, we may break the word Òyígíyigì into 3 components. O, a noun-forming prefix, yigi, the root of the word, and its duplicate, yigi. The root, yigi, does not appear to be a direct label to any obvious phenomenon in contemporary use of the Yoruba language. It might have been in the past. Be that as it may, however, Yiwola Awoyale asserts that Yoruba words are sometimes idiophonically induced. That is, the meaning of such words may be apparently tied to their sounds. An idiophonic perception of the sound that comes with yigi is suggestive of solidity and concreteness. For example, when an attempt is made to shake a sturdy object, the manner of the disinclined movement is usually described in Yoruba as jigi-jigi. A common saying in line with this thinking is kukute komira jigi, eni to me kukute ara e lo me. A short sturdy stump, kukute, does not yield to a jigi perturbation. Those who seek to shake a short sturdy stump end up shaking themselves. This jigi-jigi nature of movement contrasts with a counterpart nature of movement, laka-laka, which describes the highly compliant movement of a shaking, long, slender, and elastic object such as a whip. The articulatory proximity between ya in yigi and ja in jigi cannot be easily overlooked. Other instructive words that may help to contextualize the idea in question include shigidi, which describes a short, sturdy clay molding; ajaga, the firm wooden yoke that binds two animals together for synchronous work; and yigi, an Arabic loan word for marriage that binds a man and a woman expectedly in a firm relationship. It may not be inappropriate, therefore, to associate the root yigi and its derivatives to the idea of being in a state of solidity, rigidity, and concreteness. The reduplication of the root serving to express the intensity of the solidity, rigidity, and concreteness suggested by the apparent cognates, shigidi, ajaga, and yigi. Hence, the reduplication of the root, yigi, in Òyígíyigì, serves to express intensity of the solidity, rigidity, and concreteness. The variation in the tone from a double I tone, yigi, to a mid-tone followed by the low tone, yigi, is further suggestive of this intensity and increase. The prefix o is a noun-producing prefix attached to the stem, yigi-yigi. It expresses being in a state of solidity, rigidity, and concreteness, thereby producing Òyígíyigì as a name given to a stable, rigid, and concrete phenomenon. This word formation analysis of the word Òyígíyigì can be applied to other Yoruba words such as obitibiti, which also expresses the idea of increase, abundance, and intensity. The word obitibiti is usually employed to express the abundance of wealth, as in the phrase obitibiti owo, abundant wealth. Also of identical word formation are arekereke, which refers to a profession of perfidy, or mise, a description of exceedingly sweet taste, and owusu, implying more than necessary shrouding of an otherwise plain affair. Hence, what the Yoruba language seeks to express in the word Òyígíyigì is apparent both in the principle behind its word formation as well as its idiophonic perception. Early Yoruba Christian converts who haven't experienced Olódùmarè anew in a renewal of their indigenous knowledge of Olódùmarè seem to have made a fundamental shift by accepting a representation of the ideational immovability and immortality of God with the obvious material reality presented in Òyígíyigì, the rock boulder in ever-flowing waters. For these early Yoruba Christian converts aspiring to get to grips with their newfound faith, Òyígíyigì provided a type and a shadow of the constancy and immovability expressed in God's transcendence. Scholars of Yoruba indigenous theology have noted that for the Yoruba, Olódùmarè does not have a type. He only is his own equivalent, and no earthly reality is worthy as a representation of the Almighty Olódùmarè. However, being humans, spirits living in material bodies and engaging the natural world through material intellect, the way we get to know God is by relating our experiences of Him to our encounters with the material reality He created, the works of His hands. To this end, indigenous Yoruba theology made a seeming exception relating Òyígíyigì with Olódùmarè. How best then can Yoruba Christians remind themselves of the agelessness, immutability and immortality, faithfulness and reality of God Almighty, other than to recourse to the awe inspired by the immovability and concreteness of the material reality? Òyígíyigì ọ̀tá omi. This is why early Yoruba Christian converts felt impelled to express themselves singing,
Òyígíyigì lọ́lọ́run wa o, Òyígíyigì lọ́lọ́run wa, Òyígíyigì ọba àìkú, Òyígíyigì lọ́lọ́run wa.
Òyígíyigì ìbàkété àbàbà mi àgbèrí àgbétìbí òkè ìgbàdì ọba tó àìkú àìsá àìsá àìgbó àìtí àìtán òkè apátápìtì àìyípadà àìyípòpadà àyíjọ́ ọkúpobírí àyísá àyàpobìrì àgbà pátápátá ọlọ́jọ́ láíláí arúgbó ọjọ́ òun agbójogbó lọ bàbá àgbàlagbà àgbàlagbà alààyè àdàgbàmákú àdàgbàmáṣípòpadà àdàgbàdàgbàmárebi àgbáre. Òyígíyigì. How wonderful will it be if the whole world knew your oriki? In the next episode, how I wished, we shall be examining the Yoruba notion of oriki more deeply and how some contemporary Yoruba Christian poets seek to teach the world and also to learn from other cultures of the world the oriki of the Almighty Olódùmarè.